Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Lazy Hypnotherapist. I, as always, am your host, certified lazy hypnotherapist, Lily, and trainer of conversational hypnosis as well. And I teach other therapists, hypnotherapists, practitioners, nutritionists, dietitians, counselors, kinesiologists how to use conversational hypnosis in their practice to up level their client results and to make their practice a lot more enjoyable for them as well. So, thank you for joining me today, whether you are someone that is interested in the world of hypnotherapy and having hypnosis done on you, whether you are a practitioner and you're like, I just want to add something into my existing practice to either up level the results or just simply make it a less draining process for you, you are in the right place. And I'm so happy and excited to have you here. This whole podcast is really about teaching you what it is that I love so much about conversational hypnosis, how it has massively changed my experience within my business, how it has created a business for me that feels so fulfilling because of the results that we're able to get, but also, like I said, so much less draining. And teaching this to other practitioners has been one of the highlights of my business because I see the impact that it has on them, how they tell me how much more enjoyable their practice is, how they find this so much easier, and it takes up so much less time than their other modalities. So yeah, that's what I'm really passionate about. And today I really want to speak to you about the thing that actually a lot of therapists, miss, and it's the moments in session where change actually happens. And the coolest thing about conversational hypnosis is that I teach you how to spot it, how to know when change is happening and what to do with it. Because, the moment that a client changes, it doesn't always look dramatic. It's not always when they're crying or they're in deep trance or, when you say the perfect thing. It's often not in those moments. It's usually in the quieter moments, the moments that if you don't know what to look for, it would be so easy to miss it. And, we've been I guess it's been sort of instilled in us to do, to be really focused on what to do, what technique I should use, what question I should ask next, what script for the hypnotherapists I should follow. How do I get them deeper? How do I get them in the perfect state to make transformative change? And essentially it's like, how do I make the change for them? It's a lot of responsibility. Like, their change happens because of what you do. And really, what we really flip the script to is you are guiding and facilitating, but the change happens within them. It's not because of the technique that you use or what you say or, the most profound thing that you could bring to the conversation. It's not that. It's how they are processing it within themselves, what their internal world is looking like. And, sometimes, I'll prompt a client or I'll ask them a question that is just so, flippant. It's offhanded. It's just something that, maybe I'm curious about. And I could never have predicted that that would be the thing that helps them to see and create change for themselves. So, it might sound like, oh, I've never thought about it like that, or I don't know why, but it just feels different now, or that's strange. I've never been able to see it like that. Or even just like, I just realized something. And that's such a quick, simple, easy moment to just go, yeah, okay, and then keep asking questions and move on and miss that whole important moment because they're so casual. They're so simple, but these moments are actually everything. When your client, you can see the gear shift. Like you can literally see it. You can hear it in the way that they say it. Even there's a difference between someone saying, oh yeah, I've never thought about it like that. There's a difference between that and, I've never thought about it like that. There's differences in the way that you can see change actually happen. And that's because you are able, and through conversational hypnosis, you're able to spot the subconscious actually reorganizing in real time. You can see it in that moment. And usually that's where most practitioners will interrupt the change or think that that is the moment where they have to do something. They go back into that doing mode. Maybe they'll explain something, they'll ask another question, they'll move on to the next technique. But the subconscious was already doing its thing. That is where the change happens, from the subconscious doing its thing. It didn't need more from you. It needed the space to process and reorganize. And oftentimes that looks like you simply encouraging that. And that can be through, highlighting, like, oh, I noticed that you just had a bit of a moment there. What was that? And question it a little bit. It can just be highlighting it of, yeah, I saw that, and creating space. It can just simply be silence. And oftentimes you will then notice that your client will go very internal in that moment. When you encourage that subconscious moment, basically you say, keep doing that. Whatever you just realized there, or whatever that moment was, go further into that. And that almost gives permission to the subconscious mind to go, oh, I can keep going there. What I was doing there, that was good. And this was one of the hardest things for me to learn, to stop talking. You don't need to do the right thing here. You don't need to keep this session at this really speedy space. It's like almost becoming, comfortable with the silence, that those silences that you feel like you need to fill. Conversational hypnosis encourages you to leave it as open space for the subconscious mind to just do its thing. Allow your client to be in that present moment, to be in that new awareness, because when the subconscious has space and it has encouragement from you to go, you use that. Whatever you were doing there, use that, keep doing that. That's when it integrates. That's when change happens. But when you rush, the client will go straight back into their conscious mind. It will be like, that didn't happen because you've rushed it. Because you've said, okay, that's cool, but we need to keep going. And actually, if they were to just sit in that space, even for just 10 minutes, that's okay. That's actually important. But you feel, just because of, the way that general conversations happen, that there should be no silence. there should be no moments where the client is just going internal, but actually those are the most profound moments. And that's really what hypnosis is about learning to recognize these moments, that you're not creating change, but noticing when change is already happening. You're noticing it and gently allowing it, because the subconscious, it doesn't need force. It actually hates force because it feels like danger. It responds to safety. It responds to being seen, to being heard, to attention. And, you know, the shifts happen when it's allowed that space. Not because you did something impressive or you said the most profound thing, but because the client was able to experience something differently. They were able to have that space for their subconscious to make the change that it needs to change. And so for you, it's important that you are able to create these moments, to spot them, to utilize them, to know what to do with them, to gently encourage it, to create the space for them. And you know, that change happens in the session. And then after the session, you know, in between seeing your client, maybe it's a week in between seeing them or a couple of weeks, that processing, that subconscious is organizing, it's reorganizing into place. It's like, okay, we've created this shift. Now I need to reorganize to be in alignment with that shift. So the change happens not just in the session, but in the processing afterwards. And I always tell my clients, like, you know, you don't need to think about this session too much because the natural processing of your subconscious mind will happen anyway. So all you need to do is allow that. And so the coolest thing about conversational hypnosis is that, yes, the change happens in the session, but it continues to happen. It's like kind of like a snowball. As more positive change happens, it's like, oh, okay, this is how we're doing things now. And the subconscious just starts to reorganize and to learn to create more and more resources as that time goes on. But we need to be able to create that space for that. And it starts in the session. And what I find is that actually that takes a lot of pressure off us as practitioners, because it's like, you don't have to perform. You don't have to do the perfect session. You don't have to do the perfect technique or get them into the perfect state to be able to create change. You don't have to say everything perfectly. You just have to not interrupt the change. You just have to notice it, to create the conditions where it can happen. Because some of the most dramatic changes that I have seen have not looked dramatic at all. And that is, you know, one of the biggest things that I've had to learn is that it doesn't always look like what you think it's going to look like. You know, it's not this big, oh my God moment. It's so subtle. It's so internal, you know, and oftentimes at the end of a session, I'll ask my client, okay, like, how are you feeling about the problem now? And they'll be so internal, like, I can't find the problem. I can't feel into it right now. I can't sense it. And it's because they are so in this subconscious processing that the problem's like already shifting. It's different than it was at the start of the session. And that's how you know that it's real. You know, I always, in my hypnosis training, I teach my clients how to test the problem, you know, and we almost try and like bring it back to go, has this change actually happened? You know, I'll have them sort of imagine situations where maybe that old problem would have come up. How do you feel about that now? And because of the processing that's happened in session, they're just already able to see the change happening, to feel it. The testing of the problem is one of the most important parts of the work, because we want to see, you know, okay, this client seems to have made some, you know, really great change here, but Have they? You know, we really want to be making sure that we're testing the problem to the extent where we feel confident and they feel confident that change has actually occurred. And it feels so counterintuitive because you're like, oh my God, I've just helped this client like really get to this great place. Now I'm trying to bring this problem back. But that, I think, is the mark of a good practitioner, when you're not scared to do that because your only goal is to get them good results. So if there's anything still there and the testing almost fails, that's okay. That means we have more work to do. It's one of the most important parts. And so if you are a practitioner and you're listening to this, I just want you to start paying attention to the small moments in session. The moments where your client pauses, where something softens, where something just shifts in the tone, in the language. I want you to just notice them. And just sort of like training your mind in an everyday conversation just to notice those small, subtle shifts. And I just want you to like create a sort of safe space around those moments, to not need to fill them immediately with words, to allow that space to just be there, to encourage it. You know, a good way is going, yeah, that's it. Whatever that was, that was great. Keep going there if you like. Or just silence for a little bit. Just ask them, what did that feel like? That moment, what did that feel like? What came up for you in that moment? It's just starting to notice when these moments happen, and start to notice what happens when you encourage it. You know, when it's there, you spot it, you see it, you let it be there, and you encourage it. Just start to notice these little moments where you can see that subconscious sort of peeking through. And you can see those subtle changes happening. Those are the moments that we're interested in. We're not interested in the conscious fluff, right? We're interested in that deeper change, and that is slower. It's internal, it's subtle, but those are the moments where the change happens. So your goal is just to notice them. For now, is just to notice them. Notice and encourage. And just see what happens, see what comes up in client sessions. But yeah, that is when the change happens, and I don't want you to miss them anymore or feel like you need to keep doing in order to get results for your clients. It's noticing the change that's already there and utilizing it. So if you're keen to learn more about conversational hypnosis, you are always welcome to sign up to my conversational hypnosis course. It is live and online, so when you sign up, you can start learning straight away because of all of the my God, why am I mincing my words? You can sign up straight away and you can start learning straight away through the online recorded trainings, and you can start implementing conversational hypnosis into your existing practice. And then when you sign up, you also get lifetime access to all of the live trainings. So all my students will typically come along to their first one, and then they'll probably just keep coming every 12 weeks because they just enjoy it and it's a really good time to practice. So you are always welcome. We also have a really great Facebook group where everyone connects in there and they swap sessions and get practicing with each other. It's just a really beautiful space that I love, and all of the people in it are just like really kind and lovely and welcoming, and I love them. So we would love to welcome you into the group as well. But yeah, if you ever have any questions or anything that you just like further clarification on, you're always welcome to email me or send me a DM over at Instagram. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.